think there's only one shirt. I think obviously every day is a competition. Hello, I'm Anthony Randall. I'm a goalkeeper for Church, but I'm on loan at Coventry United.
Oliver Windridge, I'm goalkeeper for the Coventry United under-18s.
My name's Rob Hennedy. I'm one of the coaches looking after the goalkeepers at Coventry United.
I went in and I remember last minute of the game I saved the penalty and all the lads come over to me and gave me a massive hug and that, and the adrenaline and the feeling of it was unbelievable, and just stayed in ever since.
I started up as a striker and every week kept on dropping back till I was all the way in the goal. I don't know why I liked it, because I was 4 and I'm still doing it now.
I mean, started real young. I guess it happened more by chance than anything else. I think I was just the one that was crazy enough to dive around after every ball. Got more enjoyment out of that than wanting to put the ball in the back of the net. Obviously we're a strange breed, aren't we? So,
you know, if you ain't got no mental strength, you can't be a goalkeeper, in my opinion. I think it's the hardest position in football, really. You know, the perspective change. You know, you can have a good game one week, and then the next week you can have a bit of a bad game, and then your perspective changes of yourself. So, you know, you just need to maintain resilience and just, believe in yourself every day. And yeah, and just say to yourself, listen, mistakes are going to happen. You know, mistakes end something bad. Just take a lesson from it, and then you'll never have a mistake, really, because you can always learn from bad things.
It's very, 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 very important. You spend a lot of the game doing nothing, but then in a space of 30 seconds, you've got to do so much to keep your team in the game that you've got to stay focused, stay concentrated, focus on the game, on the moment. That's the most important mental part of a goalkeeper.
Oh, it's massive. Being the sort of back line for everybody in the team, you're the last line of defence. If you don't get it right, more often than not, it's a goal.
I'll be picturing things that I did in previous games, some saves, some goal kicks, things like that. I repeat things to myself like I can, put things into an image in my brain, of how the game will go.
Before a game, I try my best to focus on the team instead of myself. I'm the captain for my team, so it's always making sure everyone else is ready, everyone else is in the right mentality, right headspace, and that gets me in the right headspace because I'm not thinking too much about the game.
From a game day perspective, I like to keep a warm-up as relaxed as possible. I want the goalkeeper to enjoy it. I want him to go in relaxed and start the game without any pressure in his own game.
Just take my mind off football, as soon as I finish my game, I'll ring my mum, ring my dad, I'll go out for food with my girlfriend, my mum, all my family, just things like that. Take my mind off football, So when Monday comes where you got to train, then I'm back into football mode then.
After a game, I do a lot of reflection on the game, talking with my coach and my dad and the rest of the players, sort of owning up to the mistakes, but also the successes I had within a game.
I think it's important to always encourage. It's good to talk about good and bad areas of the game. Try not to dwell on it too much, reflect on it positively, take our learns, do the right things in training.
Probably the mistakes. I think, I've probably been there myself where, the team's going into the last minute like 0-0 and then, there's a shot at me and I could have done better. You make a mistake, that's part and parcel of the game. And that's where, you need to, stay switched on mentally and stay resilient, because, if that mistake, alters you in any way, you can, your mind can leave the game, and that can result in many more going in. So yeah, probably the worst thing about goalkeeping is probably the harsh reality of things that, if you make a mistake, it's probably going to end up in the back of the goal.
I don't have specific ones in my head, because as a goalkeeper you have so many that you kind of just got to block them out. You haven't got to let them get to you. I remember one, it was the last game for that club I'd had my best game with. It was a pre-season game. We lost 8-0. We had nothing going forward. The amount of goals I let through, I was like, Loris Karius concussed in the goal, and from that point, really set me back, and I had to say to my manager, I can't continue here anymore.
Probably in a Sunday league game, chasing the league down, we were well in contention for it, and I probably got a little bit overconfident last minute of the game. Decided to try and chip the striker on the edge of the area and fluff my lines a little bit, and he was able to tap it into an empty net and threw the league away. So.
I've got a little mechanism I do. I roll up my socks, and for that time when I roll up my socks, and when the socks are rolled up, then I go straight back into the game, and I think, it's over, it's done. And yeah, I just try and get back into the game as soon as possible, because like I said earlier, you know, if you make a mistake and then you don't recover mentally, then you know, many more mistakes are going to happen in the game, and then you know, that's where you're a liability for your teammates, and that's what I pride myself on. I don't want to be a liability for my teammates. I want to be good for them. I want to be, you know, nice and reliable behind them. So yeah, try and get back into the game as soon as possible if I make a mistake.
With mistakes, you've just got to block them out. As a goalkeeper, I know I said that it's, you know, that mistake is on the score sheet, but it's just another game in the season. You've got to block it out, forget about it, address it. Don't hide away from it, address it in training, but come into the next match, in your head, it's never happened.
It's hard to shift as a young goalkeeper. They tend to stay with you, and if you're not strong enough to sort of shrug it off, it can ruin your whole game, and you can become a problem for yourself and for your team. Nowadays, I think I guess the experience allows us to just shrug it off.
I think there's only one shirt. Every day is a competition, every day is a challenge. You know, if you perform well week in, week out, you'll keep the shirt, but if you have bad games, or you know, if you're training, you know, not up to speed, then you could get dropped. Goalkeeper, there's only one shirt available, and sometimes, you know, when you're in competition with someone, you know, you got to be ruthless.
Your failures are far more impactful. You know, ball comes from the midfielder, it hits over their foot and gets picked up by a opposition player. It's fine, they can look over it. As a goalkeeper, if I do that, that's a goal conceded, and that's a goal on the score sheet that I'm thinking, I've let that in. That's me, my failure.
Being a goalkeeper, the biggest challenge is that you've got no one to fall back on if you make an error, and generally if you do fluff your lines at any point, it's probably a goal, and you've let your team down. I suppose coaching a goalkeeper, it's being in the right place to support the goalkeeper and make sure if they make an error or they're feeling unconfident or challenged at any point, we've got to try and identify that very quickly and help them to get their head.
I played a first team game for Port Vale in a friendly. That was pretty decent against Wigan. Got some experience with that. Signed a scholarship for Derby County when I was 14. That was brilliant. Played in the FA Youth Cup against Cardiff. Played against Garnacho. Played against like a few good players. So I've had a decent little career since I'm 20. So trying to kick on and, you know, obviously do better. But probably the best one for me, signing my scholarship at Derby. Yeah.
2-3 years ago, we were playing Coventry City Development Centre. My second game for a new team. We went up 1-0, conceded one penalty, and for the rest of the game, kept the team in the game. Lots of shots all around the goal, kept us in it. We scored a last-minute goal. At that point, I rush across nearly the entirety of the pitch. All the parents said they could see a streak of orange just going across the pitch to celebrate the rest of my team, and I just knew, yeah, I've kept us in it. That win was partly me.
I always enjoy playing a big part in winning big games, cup finals, league games towards the end of the year. Many moments to remember. One that stands out is probably playing against Bedworth United when I was younger. We were quite a few leagues lower than Bedworth at the time. We were under the cosh for a lot of the game. It was a game I was busier than I'd like to be, and managed to keep a clean sheet, and we won the game 1-0. So.
You know, when we're winning 1-0, you make a big save, you know, with the last minute to go, and all the lads come over to see how, you know, give you a nice high five and stuff. That's obviously brilliant.
Being a goalkeeper, it's honestly making the saves. It's the exact same as scoring a goal. The feeling of blocking a shot, going into the goal, and thinking afterwards, yeah, that's me. I'm in the way, and you get such a dopamine rush from that. It's brilliant.
Being able to support the young guys like Harvey and the other younger keepers in the club to help them to enjoy it.
Being reliable, you know. I like to pride myself, I like to say if you went in there and asked all the lads, you know, what does Harvey bring, I like to say reliability. You know, if someone's running through on goal at me, I think, you know, Harvey's got a good chance of saving this, you know, coming for crosses, knowing that I'm going to do a good goal kick, things like that, knowing that they're saving behind them.
Most important aspect is the most basic one, the shot stopping. You know, if you're not confident in keeping the ball out the net, you don't have a place in the goal. You know, it's not as important as all this fancy stuff coming for crosses, being distribution, communication, which are all important, but the most important is keeping the ball out the net. Number one directive, number one skill for a goalkeeper.
I think just confidence, really. I guess just making sure the mindset is in the right place.
Yeah, mistakes are going to happen at the end of the day. You know, don't obviously dwell don't dwell on the past, and you know, don't beat yourself up about negative mistakes. Take a lesson from it, pick yourself up and go again. Good days will come from the bad days, so yeah, just stick at it, and you'll go far, 100%.
Mentally is, again, to not let mistakes dwell on you. Ask for help, don't let things dwell on you.
For me, it's just being able to brush off errors, things that haven't gone to plan in the game, because you're only as good as your last save, really. You know, if an error's followed by a great save, that's the last thing people will remember.